All right, happy Sunday, y'all. Y'all already know what time it is. Thank you guys for joining us. We have a huge week coming up. I hope you guys had a good weekend. I hope you got your rest because I'm going to tell you guys right now, I feel like this market is about to get hit with a bat and get put in a coma with everything that we have. Employment data. Just about the biggest S&P 500 companies you can think of across the board. Tech, energy, right? Semiconductors, restaurants, McDonald's. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys my watch list. I'm going to hurry up and try to go through this as quickly as I can. So I want you guys to understand, and you may already know this, right? We've been pulling back. Tech has been weak. We've had the IWM mid-cap stocks leading us higher. Dow took off Friday. We actually had, JP Morgan. So, and I say because if you don't know, I'm Justin. Welcome. Let me start appropriately. I just kind of threw this together and trying to rip and run. So, I'm Justin. Welcome to the Ivy League live stream. Hit that like button for me. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. I'm doing a giveaway when we get to X amount of subscribers. 1,000 subscribers, we get there. I know we can. I'm doing a giveaway for you guys. Follow me on Twitter at Ivy League Trades. I post charts, trade ideas, and all kinds of other stuff. So I posted JP Morgan Friday. We had a really good month. We expected the Dow to rebound, to have a bounce back day, and we were looking for this 20-day to hold. So if you were with us on the live stream, you would know that we were looking at Dow names to be long, and we're understanding what is leading. So the point I'm getting at this week, come join us. I trade live right here Monday through Friday. We'll go through earnings calls as we get them. We'll go through levels as these earnings come out. We have a ton of earnings this week. So right here on this channel, just click down below, or I will post the live stream up this week around 7:30, 7 o'clock. We'll get in. We'll get a nice early start to stuff. So this month has been particularly good for me. I was frustrated personally, but my account didn't reflect how I felt. Guys, there's a video that I've been thinking about making because trading alone specifically and trading in general, if this is something you do for your career, whether you have another job, a couple different things, I don't think this side of trading gets talked about enough. The personal and emotional things that can come up that the market brings out of you over time. Again, I've been doing this for 10 years. I have my ups, I have my downs. But more importantly, that's not my account. That's me, right? And my decision making. But I always know that if I put myself in the right position and understand what's going on, just like the watch list I'm going to give to you, I want you guys to pay attention to the watch list that I'm going to give you, because there's a reason why I'm staying away from certain things but going to focus on others. And just getting beat up. I'm up 30% on my entire account this month. Okay, last week was a really nice week for me. So I've had a great month, but it didn't feel like it last week. So this week, we always go through a goal. Okay, we go through a goal, and my goal is going to be wait for my entry. If I don't get it, I don't get it, and don't get emotional that I didn't get it, or if it got there and I wasn't looking at it, and it already started, so be it. We're almost at the end of the month. Okay, so I'm not going to do anything to damage that. But that's my goal this week. And if you are emotional, listen, you always live to fight another day. Please reach out. Hit me up on Twitter. My email address is in the description. Reach out for a one-on-one. Okay, if you care about your personal information and don't want to get eaten up by these sharks that are going to upsell after upsell and possibly sell your information or give it out to other companies only so they can mail you flyers and all different kinds of stuff. If you have value for your personal information, give me a shout. We'll set up a one-on-one because I really want to help you guys do this. There's a lot of things that I can show you, and just having a mentorship, a one-on-one session that could open up your eyes to a few different things, right? I don't trade one particular setup, idea. All right. It's important to be, to be able to trade large, mid caps, small caps, and be a diverse trader. But again, back to the point is trading can get real frustrating, and it's a video I'm thinking about making. So let's go into the watch list. Sorry about that. I already carried on too long. My watch list this week is going to go with the understanding that we have a Fed meeting. We have a ridiculous amount of labor data. Okay, you have inflation data, CPI, PPI, GDP numbers across the world. So you have big world data. I know it doesn't sound right, but so you have GDP, but we have a Fed meeting, we have JOLTS, we have some Treasury auctions, but more importantly, you have the Treasury General account, which we're going to get, I think, on Tuesday. So I'm kind of curious to see what happens here with that. We'll go over the data when it comes out. Again, you can join us right on this channel Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 4. It should be, or is it Wednesday? So, industrial production. Yeah, it must be on Wednesday. Okay, so Fed rate decision, press conference. Where the hell is it? Unless it's Monday. I need to find it so I know. I know it's on here. Treasury refunding financing estimates on Monday. But that's going to be very important. So this week's going to be really volatile. This market's going to be bouncing back and forth. And again, it wouldn't surprise me if, we kind of close. It's hard to say. I'm not going to make any predictions here. But, yeah, big week. Join us on the live stream. I mean, you have earnings, employment data, Fed meeting, just GDP around the world. Like, it's going to be a big week. So my watch list is going to, again, be focused on stocks that don't have earnings. All right. And if they do, maybe it's because they have news that morning or something comes out. I'm going to wait for the market, or at least some of these names like AMD, Apple. Apple's the only stock I have that has earnings that I have on the watch list because of the setup and because they don't have earnings until Thursday. Okay. McDonald's. So my idea is airlines, banks. I have some tech names that aren't going to be, these sectors are not going to be, waiting or anticipating a move. Okay. You have Meta, Microsoft, AMD, and Apple, Amazon, just Microsoft, Meta, Apple, and Amazon. That's the market. So McDonald's on Monday morning. Think about Kava, Chipotle. Okay, that sector has kind of already reported. So maybe you want to see Monday before open after McDonald's reports. How do they do, and look for that sector. Airlines have pretty much reported. Banks have pretty much reported. There are trades there. Google reported last week. Google's on the watch list. So what I'm doing to start the week is to see the setups that I have. They have room to go, whether it's to the upside or downside, which I'm going to get into. I'm going to stay away and have these names and possibly the SPY and the Qs if trades set up. And again, I'm going to stick to my levels. That is my goal this week, is to just stick to levels. Again, if you've been here for a while on the watch list, we have a weekly goal that we go into the week that we, something we want to either accomplish or something we want to do or something we want to work on. If you could, leave it down below in the description. What are you going to work on this week, or what do you want to get out of this week? All right. One last time, hit the like button, subscribe. Appreciate you guys. Let's get into the watch list. First thing is first, Apple. Okay, Apple is going to be on the watch list. So if you guys look here, Apple has this little cup and handle here, right? This is a massive, here's your uptrend, pulls back on an increase in volume and just rips. We've pulled it back on an increase in volume to the sell side, guys. So what I'm looking for out of Apple is a 220 break. All right, a 220 break on Apple. And that's going to be that double top high from Thursday and Friday. Let's say if we dip down again, futures are not open. So if you watch this watch list before futures are opened or before tomorrow morning, understand I have both sides of the trades. on this watch list. 220. I'm going to be keeping my eyes on 220. Do we reject and pull back, or do we break and hold it? I think the overall markets look like they want to try to bounce a little bit here. But again, we have Amazon, Apple, Meta, Microsoft. Just those could really end a Fed meeting, and non-farm payrolls with initial jobs claims. Like, it's a lot. So it's like the market might get put in a coma here. It might just break. So pullbacks into 216. If I get a chance to get a pullback into Friday's low, Thursday and Friday's lows at 215, 216, I'm going to look for the long and see if we can get up to 220, take profits in front of 220, and if we can break it, hold it, leave the remainder of that trade on. We're looking for the 20-day moving average, guys, up there at 225, 222. The second part to this trade, okay, the second part to this trade is the rejection up here at the 20-day moving average at 222, 225, and see if we do start to get a low volume bounce and a rejection off of that bottom, off of this support level here at 222. All right, this is a nice setup here. You saw this last week, and listen, we had the chance to take this, and I didn't take it for a swing trade. But last week, Meta did the same thing. There was a nice support level. It got back up to it, and then it rejected it. As you guys can see, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? It was right up here. Yeah, it was last week. We got right back to this mild support level up here at 497, 496.50. And you can see that gray box. We drew it. And I never took the short. Again, there was random news that came out, and this thing just fell out of bed. It's all good. So that's Apple. Two sides to the trade, okay? 215, 216 longs, or if we can break above 220, look for that 220 break, that double top. It's like it's kind of, you know, Thursday's high, Friday's pre-market high. Look to see if we can break and hold that level, and you have a few points to the upside there with the 20-day moving average. This market, just because the market's oversold doesn't mean that it has to bounce, but I am looking for this, like, a little bit of a mean reversion. Again, we could get news. We could open up lower, okay, and then look for the bounce if we come in with the gap down. I think that's highly unlikely. But Apple, again, this is a pretty decent level here at 220. If we just get up there and we can't seem to get above it, then I'm going to take the short and look for 210. So pullback longs off of 215, 216. Taking profits in front of 220 and see if we can get through it. And I'm going to take the rest off up there at 222. Look possibly for that 20-day rejection. You could get another nice move back to the downside at 210. If we get a bounce up there, and it's Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday, we have the Fed meeting, which is also going to play a part in this. There's a possibility we could see how much they want for these, because with Apple reporting on a Thursday afternoon, yes, the premium's going to be up a little bit, but with only 1 day expiration on dailies, maybe we could take a small amount of money and grab some 210 puts, or 210 puts with some 230 calls. We'll see what happens. We'll worry about that later on. The better thing to do, honestly, would be to sell those type of moves, but again, that's something you'll have to do and figure out for yourself. Again, set up a one-on-one if you want to gain some more knowledge. All right, we've just been spot on, and again, it's not hard to be spot on. It's finding, having the watch list, getting the stock, and getting it at your price point that you want to either go short or buy. That's the biggest hurdle. So anyway, Google's the second one. Now I like this trade. I like this trade setup. We had this nice range here. We had a gap up from previous earnings. We pulled back, was a nice support level, and then we extended up to new highs. And now we're back down at that support level and the 100-day moving average. So what I want to look for out of Google is a 165 or 170 break, which is right here. 170, and then you have 165 down here, but 170. 170 is going to be the level to pay attention to. All right, 170. If we go to our hourly chart here, you can see that we're going to be in between the 100-day 50-day, and 20-day. Pretty much we're in between the 100-day and 50-day moving average on the daily chart. So what I want to do is, Google has already reported earnings. You quickly broke the 100-day moving average, and we regained it. So I want to look to see if Google can regain 170, right? See if we can drop back into this blue box down here, which is the 100-day moving average. And I want to see if we can take this long down at the 100-day moving average at like 168. All right, 168, Friday's close. If we drop back below it, and if we drop back into 166 to Friday's low, I will be patient with the trade. I will actually look to see the volume in that, because I don't want to see Google give the 100-day up. Sure, we can take a small little pullback wick, shake some people out of the longs, and then it reclaims, and then it goes. All right, so it's gonna be an area, not a specific price, for Google. So if you guys notice also here, all right, I'm gonna show you guys something here. So, oh shit, excuse my language, I do apologize. We have a massive gap up above us in this range here. You guys can see there's a ton of support down here, down at 165, 164.50. So if we can get above 170 longs, okay, and I'm gonna target 175 and this gap fill. You have a gap fill up here. It kind of takes you up to 180. So you had a gap up and then a massive gap down, and then you pulled back into this level up here with this double bottom. So this little area right there could be our target, which is at like 178. Is really where I'll have the majority of this trade off. This could be a nice 10-point trade. I'd like to have this on for like a couple days and see if we can get some bounce back dip buys on Google. All right, that is Google. So that's going to be 170. I want to look for a break of 170 and get long up there at 170 to 168, that area at the 100-day moving average, and see if we can bounce back, take profits in front of 175, see if we can get through 175. You've had some nice volume to the buy side Wednesday and going into the end of day Friday. So I would like to see if we could change things up and get some upside on Google. All right, next one on the list, obviously Tesla, the automotive sector. Ford, GM, all have done bad. Think about this, right? Think about the sentiment in which I'm giving you guys right now. Like, some of these shouldn't be held to a leader in the group, right, in the sector, to either not move or move with the earnings, right? So I'm trying to stay in early in the week plays and names that aren't going to be sufficient and held up to earnings. Tesla, 218. I'm sorry, 218. We held up Friday. You tried to make some positive upside on Tesla. Thursday, Friday, you ended up breaking back down. But more importantly, the daily chart. Check out this daily chart. Now, if you're with us on the live stream, again, come join us. We're gonna have it up 7:30 to 4. Right here on this channel. So you guys can see this massive wedge that we've been putting in for a couple years. It's just too perfect. Just to a T, right? We gap above it. We gap above that wedge. You gapped above it. And then we like start to pull back in, and then it just gaps below it. And look here. Look at this daily chart right there. You guys will see that we started to turn that wedge into resistance. We gapped below it, sold off at it, bounced into it, and then rejected. Now we're trying to make some upside here at 220. So, Tesla. The long. Okay, the only way I'm getting long Tesla is if we can hold up at 222, 222, and 220. 222 is going to be Friday's, it's going to be like Friday's pivot high here. All right, towards like midday. I will look for Friday's VWAP and Friday's close as well. So it's like it's a range, 222 to 220, and see if we can break back above here and start getting some progress. Get that long at 222, and then see if we can extend through 225. 225 is a massive level. I shorted Tesla 3 to 4 times this week. It was just massive gains on it, right? It was a trade that I put on for 10, 20 minutes, an hour. At one point, it was either, I think, yeah, Thursday, end of the day. This trade up here, I was in that for about an hour. All right, off of this rejection of that pivot low from the earnings. So this is where you want to watch. You want to keep your eye on that support level from earnings that we broke below. You've already double topped at it. Okay, right there is that support level. There at 225, 226, yeah, 225, and then 1, 2. That's a double top, and then you broke below 222. Turn that into resistance right there. You guys can see there. You turned it into resistance. So now it's like, okay, we held 220. Can we hold 222? If we hold 222, you could look for a scalp long back to 225 and maybe hold, like, you know, take off half of the position to see if you get that break through 225, because then you got to watch. You're coming right back into the top end of that wedge and 230 resistance. So just be aware that of what's going on, because if you think you're just going to put the trade on, not take your money, you know, the only real trade that I have outside of Google, JP Morgan, which we're going to cover in a couple, like, I'm going to tell you guys which ones have room to go. If you're going to trade Tesla this week, you know, you take your profits, because even if you try to go short at 225, you're looking at 222. You're looking at a $3 move there, and you got to have half that position off for it to hold, in case it holds. All right, just take your money. Take your money, grow that account. So Tesla, I got to be honest, I'm just going to trade the chart. I'm going to see where we open, see how Tesla wants to trade. And, you know, until 225 breaks, I'm going to use it as a resistance point. If we can hold 222 and we break through that with an increase in volume, all right, if we can break through it with an increase in volume to the buy side, then I would look for a long. Another thing I want you guys to see here. This is important. Look at this hourly chart, okay? And I want to show you guys something here. And here's the thing is, I'm going to target a short up at 230, really 225. If I get short up at 230 to 225, I'm looking to get back down to this 200-day moving average and 210. All right, 210 and that 200-day moving average. Look at this RSI on the daily chart. Look at this, and then watch the chart when I show it to you. Look at how, when we've been rolling it over, it's been slowly making, like you can see here, we're making new highs. The RSI is pulling back, okay? Pulls back and still extends higher. So it's been weak. That rally has been weak. All right? So what I'm going to look for is to see, yes, if we get a pop to the bottom right, are we just going to go ahead and put in a lower high up at like 70, 68, 67, 65 on the RSI, then really look for that downside move to just figure out what's going to happen for the next, you know, incoming year, couple years for Tesla. Again, remember, risk off. The market at the moment is risk off. You can look at the Dow, the IWM, the SPY, the Qs. They've all had weekly candle wicks last week. Okay? Just right now, tech is weak. Mid caps are leading higher. You know, just understand what's going on and put yourself in the right position and on the right side of the trade in the right direction. It's not hard. All right, so that's Tesla. Another trade that should not, you know, have us held to earnings. DJT. Trump spoke this weekend. Want to look for DJT here. All right, there is, I'm looking at both sides of this trade as well. All right, looking for both sides of this trade. 30 3150. 3150, guys. 3150. You guys can see here where this gray box is. I know it's a little hard because this thing has went from 20 to 60 and then from 55 to 20 back down to 20. So it's going to be a little hard to read. I want to see here. You can see we fell back in here at 3150 wick. We held it. It tried to like get one more rally off of it, then it broke. Resistance. We come in with that gap up after I'm pretty sure the assassination attempt. I want to look for a move. Honestly, we have not tested, and I didn't see this until now, so I do apologize, but we have not tested really and officially, like in my opinion, turned it into resistance. $36. So what I'm going to look for is both sides to this trade. I'm going to look for 3150. If we can get above it, I'm going to look to hold 3150. Look long to 33 and that 20-day moving average. The thing is about 36, right, is that you have to worry about offerings. If this thing gets any type of upside move, you have to worry about offerings. So, you know, 36, you could see if we regain the 20-day, maybe you get a lower high put in up here at 36. So the upside, 3150. If we can break above it and then hold it, I'm going to look for an entry point there at 3150. If we can't, very simple, 3150, look to get short in front of the 20-day moving average, which should also be pulling back then. Shorts up at 3150. Look for Thursday's low down at 29. Look for $30. And 29 and 28 is to the downside. Okay, you guys can see there's a prior gap down here at $27.85 to $28 to the downside. So for the short, we're looking at 3150 shorts, and we're looking to see if we can break. I know it's hard to see, but we're looking to break Friday and Thursday's low, and you got some room to the downside down here, okay? And you have some room down there. Look for support at 28, 29 to 28. I would be taking profits in front of 28. You can see here, double bottom to the left of the screen. 1, 2, there's your double bottom. So you want to take profits as you get down into that area of 28.90, 29. If you break above 31.50, then we're going to look to take profits in front of 33. Okay, like 32.80, 32.85, have some limit orders out there. And if we can break and hold above that 20-day, then you honestly have some really nice room to just put in a day or two to go back and retest 36 to turn that into resistance. I want to hurry up. Okay, another one, XOM. Actually, Chevron has earnings Friday. Okay, Chevron and Exxon, actually. So this does have earnings on Friday. I think it's after the close. No, before the close. Before the open, I mean. Before the open. Okay. Exxon's been putting in this like cup and handle here on the daily chart. You guys can see energy. And if the market keeps pulling back and energy rises or the dividends, you're going to have people that are going to be looking for some of these dividend plays. You have a nice nice uptrend, pulls back, up and around, and pulls back. Here's the thing. I'm mixed on this because I think you have too much volume to the downside. That selling pressure at times has came in pretty heavy. And this pullback, to an extent, is tight, but I would much rather see the price action for that handle be a lot tighter than what it was. So what I'm going to look for here, as you guys can see here on the daily chart, is if we can pull back into the 100-day moving average and that 20-day moving average, 116. If we hold 116, look for the long and look to extend back up into 120, right? And see if you can eventually break 120. That pullback was pretty small volume, all right? If we cannot, then you have a lot you have a lot here to contend with. I think the upside is a lot easier than the downside. You can see here, look at all that selling pressure, just consolidation, bounce, rejection. You know, this area did open up, but if you were to scroll left, you'll see here on the daily chart, it's just, look at this whole area there. It's just, there's a lot going on there, in my opinion. So I would much rather see the long play out here, and to see if that tech and big cap, mega cap tech selling off. Maybe we see some institutions go after these dividends, and you know, some of these lower PE names. Okay. So that's Exxon. This is a nice little setup here. You had some nice volume, and watch the Dow. If the Dow is going to continue to be strong, we're going to take notice of that. Again, come join us on the live stream. We talk about all that in the morning on what sector and what parts of the market are leading us. Is the divergence. You know, I teach you guys all that stuff. So that's going to be XOM. Watch 116. If we break 116, then in my opinion, you know, you have a couple different options here. But 113, and look for final takes down there at 110, 111. All right. Break 116. Look for the rejection up there at 116. If you break 116, make sure that it's on an increase in volume, because that 20-day is going to be coming up there at 115. And if it's just a low volume pullback break, then the long is still intact. So really, 116 to 115 is the area I would still look to get long. Yes, I would preferably like for this day, Thursday, to hold up. Really nice volume, steady, consistent. And I just about took this long here on Thursday, guys, last week. It's all recorded live here. So we talked about that in the morning, and we said, hey, let's look for a break through 116. You had some nice volume there. Just that setup alone, you'll see here, it's just, it tells you strength all day long. This is like just buy trigger from institutions, in my opinion. You know, if you're new, you'll start to see these type, like when you see those candles and they just like, there's no pullbacks and the candles are full, just consistently going to the upside. So that's that. JP Morgan, this one I really like. Friday morning, I brought this up. I brought JP Morgan up Friday morning. I said, okay, guys, here we are, 208. And the 20-day moving average. And what else did we have? We had the Dow. The Dow gapping up, looking strong with volume pre-market. So the minute we come out of the gates, here's a 5-minute chart. The Dow had really nice volume. And look at that candle it put in. So immediately, I said, guys, JP Morgan, let's look to see if the Dow breaks, and we look for JP Morgan. So coming into this week, we'll look to see if we can get 212. Okay, 212. And this 20-day moving average, which is the green box. All right. We're going to look to see if that can continue to hold. We have an ascending wedge, and I want you guys to understand, again, with these trades, I have both sides to the trade. I'm not going to have conviction on one side long. Okay, because the market at right now is at a risk-off type of environment. You have a new politician in the mix for the presidency that's throwing in to this soft landing from the Fed, earnings good, bad, or valuations too high. So right now, risk off. You can even see here on these longs, the volume is pulling back. So this ascending wedge on a daily chart, ascending wedges are normally reversal patterns. Okay, you can see you tried to break out and it quickly with volume just pulled back inside of that wedge there on the daily chart. So that's JP Morgan. Be careful. Okay, again, come join us. We'll go through these live. So if 212 continues to hold and we see more progress come in out of the Dow and we start to see like that continued rotation into the Dow, then we're going to look to get up to 216, 217, back to these previous highs. I at least want to get back to 216. This could be a nice 1 to 2 day trade here. All right, we called it out Friday morning if you were with us. We pointed out the dominance in the Dow pre-market, And right off the bell, the volume and the strength that came in, and we immediately looked for JP Morgan because we had already talked about this. You can see that dotted line there was 208. We said, guys, 208 in that 20-day. Let's look, see if we can hold here. Thursday, you put in a double bottom. If you don't know what that is, I'm sure you do, but right there, there's one. Bang. Bang. 1, 2, rally. So that's JP Morgan. We can also look at Bank of America, Wells Fargo, all that fun stuff. And it actually looks like this 5-minute candle here wants to try to break and pull back here. So be careful. But 212 longs into 216. 216 or 212 breaks. Then we're looking for moves back into 210. All right. We're looking for moves back into 210. There's a lot of room left on this trade. Okay. You have this upside here, and then you have that downside. So there's still a trade to the downside. It's just not as much as the upside of the trade. So that's JP Morgan. 212 level. That's a beautiful setup here. All right. We had an increase in volume through the break of this prior resistance at 212. And now we're sticking it. Let's look for that extension higher, guys, into 216. All right. I don't know where futures are going to open, all that fun stuff. So that, okay. So there's JP Morgan. All right. Nvidia. I'll be watching Nvidia. Remember that AMD, ARM, they all report this week. They all report. I traded Nvidia, I think this week short. I think it was like Wednesday I traded Nvidia or Thursday. I can't remember. Or did I trade the long? I have to go back through my order. I traded a lot. We traded a lot. Again, this week, or I'm sorry, this month, my entire account, especially from this week, is up 30%. So it's been a really nice month. Nvidia is really, I think semiconductors, I think you're going to see, you're seeing some profit being taken. All right. You're going to see bonuses being locked in, guys. All right. We'll see. They don't have earnings for a couple more months, but there's a lot of people that, a lot of financial advisors that have been in this, and they've made a lot of money. Nvidia has paid them. Don't be surprised if they take it. So I'm going to look for that 50-day moving average. Okay, right here, that red line in that red box. You got to watch this low here at 117.50 and the 50-day. If you can recapture 117.50 to like 115, it's going to be an area. You want to see if you can get back above there and hold it. Okay, as of right now, we've done nothing but reject it. All right, right here. 118 to like 116. It's a $2 range there. So look for, if you get a pullback into 112, I'm going to be looking for longs if we can hold 112. You have to remember that AMD earnings is Tuesday afternoon. ARM is Wednesday afternoon, and I don't think we have semiconductor Monday, but something's telling me that we might. No. Okay. We do have Cloudflare, which is going to go into like CrowdStrike and some of those other names. Just want to make sure that we don't have. Man, there's just so much this week. It's insane. This is going to be an awesome week, guys. All right. Benefit from it. Come join us on the live stream, guys. I'm going to tell you guys right now. I'm going to work my ass off to help you guys understand and help you guys get in, help you guys make some money from entry to exit, being strong and saying, hey, the level hasn't broken. Why are you selling? Or if the level did break, why are you still in it? Why are you just praying for a comeback? Like, let's just get back to the basics, write down the levels. If they hold, we understand the sentiment, and we get the overall indexes, technology starts to take off, then obviously NVIDIA, we're looking for 112. We're going to look to take profits in front of the 50-day moving average and in front of 116. So 112, 110 longs, 117.50, 122.50 is what I have written down here. Again, this area is what I'm looking for. right here, this gray box. I want to see this double top resistance at 117 turn into support. I want to see if we can break through that. But again, look at this volume to the downside that we had Thursday. The market's really risk off right now. But pullbacks, if we can get a 112, 114 long, I really want to see, you know, that's a trade there. All right, that's a trade. That's a few dollars to the upside. We'll take half off and we'll wait to see, can we get above it? If not, okay, we take our profits. We've taken profits on it. We get out and then we get short at the 50-day and look for the downside. So this range right here, I want to see if we can reclaim this support level up there at 118, 117.50. And if we can, then you have a nice solid move to 122. All right, back up to the 20-day moving average on Nvidia. Semiconductors are looking a little harsh, though, guys. Just to be honest with you, that's a nice double top breakdown on an increase in volume. I would be careful. I would seriously be careful. So that's that. Let's go to the next one. Reddit. Reddit. I like this one. This one has room. All right. I want to see. It's the same thing. A lot of these you're noticing, if you're noticing, they have the same setup. A lot of these have the same setups. So we bounce back into the 50-day moving average. I want to see if 64, what is that? Yeah, 64 to 65 becomes resistance again. And if it can, we look for the downside. The downside move could take us down to $55. So, I mean, honestly, I could see us recapturing 64. If we do recapture 64, we have a gap fill here. So I want to show you guys is this gap fill right here. I'm not opposed to just the long and just the short. I have both sides of trades here on here because, again, we are a bit oversold. Let's see if we can get a bounce back recovery, get some shorts to take profits. So if we can recapture the 50-day, recapture $64. Look for a 64 long into the gap fill at 67.50 and see if you can get up to $70 resistance. Okay. So this level right here, you guys can see. This is that prior support right there. Can we start to make progress, get above this 50-day moving average? Let me pull up a 15-minute chart. I forgot about my mouse, guys. I do apologize being all the way up on the mic like that. All right, so you can see here support up there is $68. It's like $67.80, $67.90. Really, it's like 68. So I want to see, can we have, again, a double top from Thursday and Friday? Can we reclaim it, right? Reclaim it, get a small low volume pullback off of 65, hold 64, and then look for that extension up into the gap fill at $68. And maybe we're even able to get up to like $70. All right, that's Reddit. All right, that's about really all I have for you guys. Again, Meta, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, they all have earnings. Keep your eye out for names like Reddit. All right, yeah, I wouldn't even say Carvana either because Carvana has, I'm pretty sure, has earnings as well. So Google, I like Google. I think it has some nice room to the upside. I'm going to really keep my focus on that. This is a nice support level. I don't think we break this level the first try. We had a nice tail at the 100-day moving average. And let's see if we can get some dip buyers here on Google. And again, look for a move back to 175, possibly even 180. I appreciate you guys. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening. Let's get ready for a week, guys. I'm telling you guys right now, the volatility is going to be insane. Don't trade it on your own. And also, don't pay someone else that's just going to just not do and have you in your best interest. I know that doesn't make sense. I'm not good at talking. I need to work on my speaking. But come on over, trade with us. We trade live right here Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 4. We have, again, your guys' best interest at heart. I'm looking to have I'm really looking to end this month off on a bang. All right. So we have a lot of names that are reporting. There's a ton of opportunities still out there to be had. All right. CrowdStrike, it's just continuing to fall. You have Cloudflare. I will look at some airlines, but like CRWD, it's just, you can look here on a daily chart. I don't think you buy it until you get down to this like 240 level. I just think it's, maybe we do. Maybe we can get a reversal, but we quite haven't filled this gap, and you have support there at 240. So we get down into like 248, 245. I'll look at CrowdStrike. I've been trying to get this thing to turn back around. It just won't. It just keeps getting sold off and sold off and sold off. Also, again, another trade idea, Lululemon. Lululemon's been really selling off, guys. So if the market's going to pull back, where do we want to be? We want to be in names that are already weak and have a catalyst. So the apparel the apparel sector with Louis Vuitton, whatever that the company is, they were having issues. Whatever the news was, that they started selling off. Then you had Lululemon. So that sector is pulling back. Just like restaurants, it's been kind of a mixed bag. Some are good, some are bad. Yeah, Texas Roadhouse. At the end of the day, their EPS has been beating, but like Chipotle, I know that they said their for their lawyers and like compliance or whatever was up 30%. So they are having some cost of the business that are going up. Cost of employment's going up, so that's kind of eating into it. But they're expanding their margins by 18%, so it's like, I think they could have done a lot better if the margins were better for Chipotle. So think about it, right? We've had banks, you've had some airlines, you've had a lot of these restaurant names, apparel. If the market's going to pull back, I would like to see if we could get a bounce back on Lululemon, and I would actually short this name. All right, and see if we can get back. I mean, I think this is a pretty tough level right here. If you get back to 280, look for a 278 to 280 rejection on Lululemon, and maybe you get back down to 200. This is a pretty big move to the downside. You might start seeing some layoffs come with this, and some sort of restructuring. Something happened here because this is. Lululemon's took a hit this year. Guys, I love you guys. Hit the like button if you've found this stream useful. Hit the like button, subscribe. It would help us get passed along to someone else that would like to be live with us and trade with us and have the watch list. So yeah, you guys have a great rest of your night. I'll see y'all in the morning. Have a good one.